higher education under the 1978 policy. Under this policy, it was decided to provide new buildings and necessary equipment up to 1992. For some reason, this policy gives a 14-year period to achieve its targets at the university level. So universities were there, but they were not in sufficient numbers, and the facilities were poor too. So instead of opening more new universities, this policy decides to add on facilities, buildings, equipment, and stuff to existing universities to upgrade them rather than create new universities. It was also decided in this policy that the expenditure of the universities will be met by the central government. This is the government in the capital. So university education was taken away from the provinces and were handed over to the federal government at the time, and so the responsibility of meeting the financial needs of these universities was also seen as that of the central government. As the facilities and the equipments increased, were created, or would be over the 14-year period, there should be a change in the quality of education that people in our universities would be receiving. Compulsory teaching of Islamiyat, Pakistan studies, and Arabic. These three subjects were made compulsory in the 1978 policy at the school level. It was seen that these three subjects, Islamic education, Pakistan studies, and Arabic, because to understand the Quran and the Hadith, Arabic was seen as an important language because that's the language in which the Quran and the Hadith are written. Now, when these were made compulsory, what was the purpose? The purpose really was, again, to imbibe in young people a passion for nationalism, a passion for Islamic ideology, a passion for Islamic principles on which life should be lived. And that was seen that could happen only through education. Unfortunately, the Arabic language was also introduced at this time. Previously, the people were doing Islamic studies in Urdu or in English, but now with the introduction of the Arabic language, young people would actually be able to read and understand the Quran and the Hadith for themselves. This was seen as a step in the right direction. The cultural heritage of the Muslims is also in the Arabic language, so it was decided to make this compulsory at the middle stage, and programs of teaching Arabic started through radio and television. Because if this was to be introduced in schools, and if children needed help at home, when it was done through radio and television, even parents could learn that and help their children. Even teachers could equip themselves better with skills in the Arabic language. And so using media of that time, which really was just radio and television, it was seen as a step in the right direction. Good use of media for educational purposes. Adult education was seen as important. Again, we see in the 78 policy a stress on adult education. Why? The literacy rate had to go up. And the only way literacy rate could go up is if, together with our young children, we also focused on educating the adults. So, it was said that 10,000 centers would be opened for educational purposes, and the centers will be equipped with necessary equipment. The aid would come from UNESCO, and 10,000 television sets were also promised. So the technology of that time was brought into educating the adults as well. Good use of available technology, and a lot to learn from that. As these new technological innovations were coming about, we see them infiltrating into education.